Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
And good evening to you. Well, South Australians are preparing for a major lockdown with harsh new restrictions coming to effect from midnight. As authorities work around the clock to contain the virus, the Tasmanian Premier has warned anyone considering travelling from that state to stay away.
Lines stretching out the door and around the corner. South Australians flocking to supermarkets in a panic as the state prepares to lock down.
Unbelievable. Never seen anything like it. Oh, overwhelming.
In Adelaide, many facing long waits as they stock up on the essentials.
I needed to buy some milk, genuinely, and a few things. I would say I'm an hour away getting in there.
I arrived here just to get a couple of things, and all of a sudden within 20 minutes it was pandemonium. So I got a few extra things.
So I just needed to pick up some basics just to make sure we got them in. Don't need to get too much.
The panic buying triggered by this announcement from the Premier.
As of midnight tonight, we need our community to pause for 6 days.
This circuit breaker will see most businesses, including hotels and takeaway outlets, close for almost a week. South Australians essentially confined to their homes.
We are going hard and we are going early. Time is of the essence.
The state recorded only 2 new cases overnight, both connected to the Parafield outbreak. That number described as small but critical.
And we have a very, very short window of opportunity to close it down and stamp it out in our community.
Tasmania's Premier today praising their response, but delivering a very clear message to South Australians considering coming to the state.
Don't come. This is not the right time to be travelling or moving around your own community, and certainly it's not the right time to be arriving in Tasmania.
South Australia will remain a medium risk jurisdiction, those quarantining in Tasmania to remain there for 14 days.
I think it's likely that the advice that we're providing today will be something that we'll hold to for at least another 6 or 7 days.
This is a wake-up call. It's a serious wake-up call. South Australia being shut down for 6 days is something that no Tasmanian wants to occur here.
Especially businesses like Darchi and Darchi. Despite mass shutdowns in Tasmania, it remained afloat throughout the first wave, even opening up a new shop front, not letting the fear of a second wave hold it back.
Just like we managed the first time, I'm sure we'd manage the second time if it happens.
I think we've got a great future front of us as a state, and the business confidence is not just in us, but lots of places around has been opening.
Hoping that the future continues to look this sweet. Meg Sides, 7 Tasmania News.
Well, Premier Peter Gutwein has come under fire for a lack of transparency after Tasmania was declared Australia's most secretive state. An Ombudsman report revealed public authorities refused to release any data under right to information in a third of all cases. Labor and the Greens say the system is in desperate need of an overhaul.
The ethos of the Act is to release as much information as possible. Government are there representing us, representing the community. That's their job. That's every parliamentarian's job. This is public information that the public has the right to see.
There is a lot of public disclosure that occurs, and in terms of material that's not disclosed or provided under RTI, a percentage of that will obviously be because it already publicly exists.
The Premier will meet with the Ombudsman to discuss the issue. Climate change and housing have formed the centrepiece of the Greens' proposal to recover from the global pandemic. Handing down its alternative budget, the party would fund a jobs guarantee for young people, as well as building 2,000 affordable homes and protecting native forests. It would also establish a Human Rights Act and an Animal Welfare Commission.
We recognise that Tasmania's society, economy and the environment need a whole new way of doing things.
Peter Gutwein delivered his 7th state budget last week, his focus on infrastructure spending. After a lengthy delay, an inquest into the deaths of 3 workers at the Mount Lyell mine has resumed. Alastair Lucas, Craig Gleeson and Michael Welsh died in 2 separate incidents at the mine almost 7 years ago. The coroner today heard from a former employee, David Swalo, who monitored seismic activity at the mine, saying the levels were manageable. The matter has been adjourned. A man has been left with chainsaw wounds following an alleged neighbourhood dispute at Middleton last night. Investigations continued this morning after police responded to reports of a disturbance on Ward's Court around 10:20. Authorities allege 2 people attended the neighbouring property and a man injured with a chainsaw was taken to the Royal Hobart Hospital for treatment. A man and woman in their 50s have been charged with committing an act intended to cause grievous bodily harm and will face court at a later date. As Tasmania enters a bushfire season, the state's fire chief is warning people of the deadly threat. The TFS is urging everyone to plan ahead with an online tool that takes as little as 5 minutes to complete.
In 17 years, Stuart and Rosie Barry's leafy South Hobart home has never been firmly in the firing line of a bushfire.
We certainly had the smoke coming over the back of the house there and the red sky.
That doesn't mean it's not a lingering fear.
Definitely not looking forward to the fire season. Every March we kind of breathe a sigh of relief that we got through.
The pair has developed an online bushfire action plan to prepare for a worst-case scenario.
It's been fantastic that we could personalise what we are doing for our property and have it printed out so that it's easily available.
Everybody needs to prepare to keep themselves safe, their community safe.
The 5-minute tool, potentially life-saving according to the fire service, yet a low uptake suggests not everyone sees it as essential.
We're not confident that we've got it across the board, perhaps because people don't think they're at risk.
Any home 100 metres from 1 hectare of bushland is classed as bushfire prone, and while the outlook is less hazy than last year,
it'll be a normal fire season. That's how we gauge it, and that means we'll have 3 to 4 major fires.
It's predicted the La Nina weather event could create remote fires in the west and southwest, a problem the TFS expects we won't face until the new year. Until then, preparedness is key.
Go online right now, do a bushfire plan for the summer. I did mine this morning and I'm really pleased I have.
Garth Burley, 7 Tasmanian News.
One of Tasmania's longest serving mayors has decided now is the time to end his time in public office. Tony Foster stepping down from Brighton Council's top job, allowing a smooth transition to a new leader.
He spent nearly half his life at the helm of Brighton Council.
We made a socially responsible decision.
Now Tony Foster is making a decision for himself.
It's been really a good ride.
The mayor of 27 years with a remaining tenure of months.
It's really about allowing council to put in place a proper transition period.
Upon his entry to the council in 1985, he quickly emerged as a fierce advocate for the local community, fighting gambling issues.
Socially and economically, the problems are still there for us.
However, accepting hundreds of refugees from war-torn Kosovo, his most fulfilling achievement.
I think that stands out to me as the most significant thing that I guess I've been involved in.
He was awarded an Order of Australia medal, but his lasting legacy will be the proposed Brighton High School, a personal 15-year crusade.
It will be good to eventually see the high school built out there because there's no doubt in the world that it's a fast-growing area.
His last day at the council chambers will be June 30 next year. Garth Burley, 7 Tasmanian News.
Hobart's Argyle Street has taken out the unfortunate title of Tasmania's worst crash hotspot. The busy road jumped 2 places to top spot as part of AAMI's annual crash index. Overall, it found traffic congestion was to blame for most incidents on the road, with Tuesdays and Wednesdays and mornings deemed the peak risk periods across the capital.
2 new hotspots joined the top 10 for Hobart this year: Tasman Highway at Cambridge and Liverpool Street in Hobart.
Macquarie Street came in second place, followed by the Brooker Highway and Sandy Bay Road. Preliminary designs have been released for a facelift for an iconic Northwest Centre. Many school groups have stayed at Port Surreal's Camp Banksia, and now future generations are set to benefit from modern accessible cabins, recreational spaces, playgrounds and cooking facilities. Funded by the Federal Government and La Trobe Council, the upgrades are due to start construction mid-next year. Entries have closed for this year's Launceston to Hobart yacht race, with organisers reeling in a super field. The event is stacked with Tasmanian entries, including one boat that'll be gracing a start line for the first time.
This mesmerising vessel
making final preparations for the Launceston to Hobart.
We are anticipating to be full on, but we are ready for the task and preparing as much as we can to perform well.
Just shipped in from France, its first competitive outing will be the race.
Very confident of the boat ability. It's a modern design, it's a boat designed to go fast, and we'll try to match the ability of the boat with our skills.
The two also competing in the race for the first time.
No expectations, but we want to sort of sail as best we can and sail the boat as hard as we can and see what happens.
Despite competing in the more difficult two-handed section, organisers are expecting them to make a splash.
3 letters really, wow. It's been imported from France. It's a Sunfast 33, the very latest in technology and thinking, and designed to go fast.
All but one of the 34 entrants in this year's race are Tasmanian.
From the beginning it's been Tasmanian support, and really it was designed originally, this race, to actually cater for Tasmanians who don't necessarily have the time or finances to get to Sydney or to do the Sydney race, and it's been a very successful race from that point of view.
A strong field entered in this, the 14th edition.
We have a bigger entry, the third biggest entry we've had in history. The last time the number exceeded 34 was in 2007.
A year full of stormy waters, ending with smooth sailing. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmanian News.
Meanwhile, strong local support has also been slated for the summer's other major yacht race. Sydney Hobart organisers have received 6 Tasmanian entries for the annual event. Sean Tyneman's Philosopher will lead the charge for silverware, having won its division last year. There are also 2 entries from the state in the race's two-handed competition. There's set to be a slice of the Caribbean flavour in Hobart this summer, with hard-hitting all-rounder Chemo Paul becoming the Hurricanes' newest international signing. The Guyana native's move to the Apple Isle comes after impressing local cricket great Ricky Ponting, his coach at IPL side the Delhi Capitals. The 22-year-old has played 18 T20 internationals and will meet up with his Hurricanes teammates following the West Indies' current tour of New Zealand. The Hobart Hurricanes' top order has rebounded from a horror collapse yesterday, but it was not enough against the ladder leaders, the Melbourne Stars. Elise Villani and Annabelle Sutherland plundered the Hobart attack, putting on a 120-run partnership. With the bat, opener Rachel Priest got her sign-off to a flyer, blasting 2 sixes. One bounced onto the road.
This time it's full, that's gone miles, way over the fence, on top of the grass, and down onto the road, I would guess.
It's on Dora Street for sure.
Woo.
But the Hurricanes could not chase down the big target, the Stars winning by 39 runs. A bumper field of 12 Olympians is set for the revamped Launceston Running Festival. Organisers are bullish about the times we could see in the half marathon event, predicting it could be the fastest achieved on Australian soil.
It's one of the quickest runs in the country.
Well, it's a proven course. The Launceston 10, everyone knows, is a good, fast event any time of the year.
And it's about to get quicker.
It's easier to list all the athletes who aren't coming to this event. It's literally a who's who of Australian distance running royalty. 12 Olympians, 11 of them from Rio.
Buoyed by the superb field, Welsh is making some bold claims about the times we could see on the day.
We're hopeful that the field that we put together in the half marathon will go close, if not to breaking the Australian all-comers record.
Australian half marathon record holder Brett Robinson leading the charge in that race.
He's only got to get within a minute of his PB and it'll be the fastest time ever on Australian soil.
The women's half marathon event also set to be hotly contested.
There'll be the rematch from the Hobart Run the Bridge this year with a Canadian half marathon record holder Andrea Sakafian and the local legend Millie Clark. They had a sprint finish in Hobart and now they're battling off in the half marathon.
Seeing that talent up close will be a treat for spectators by the roadside and for the everyday runners, hoping to keep up with them for the first 50 metres. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmanian News.
Good evening. Hobart 24 today, Launceston 21, Burnie 19 and Devonport 17. Ooze recorded our top. It was 26 degrees, well up on its November average of 20.9 degrees, but well below November 2009, the record of 33.6 degrees at Ooze. St Helens and Grove 24 today, King Island 23, Lyowini 21 and Strawn 20, Smithton, Lowhead and Flinders Island 19. Scattered cloud over us today. A frontal cloud band is building to our west. We'll see that better on the larger shot as that cloud band extends from northern WA to our southwest. Convective cloud with thunderstorms over the far northwest of the continent and southern Queensland. Tomorrow we also see that a low is linked up with the front. The high remains slow moving over the Tasman Sea. Winds northeast and northwesterly, tending more northeasterly from the middle of the day, 10 to 15 knot winds inland. Hobart expecting 23, a possible light shower to start the day. Same for Cygnet, and 26 the top for New Norfolk. Launceston a high of 26 and partly cloudy. Devonport 21, a top of 24 for Campbelltown. Burnie 20 and partly cloudy, a light shower for Strawn, 25 the maximum, 21 for Smithton. St Helens looking at 24, Swansea 23 and 26 for Fingal, partly cloudy across the east. UV a very high 9 after a sun up of 5:38 a.m. On Friday, a possible light shower over Hobart, mainly fine elsewhere as the winds turn southwest to southerly later. A morning shower near Burnie on Saturday, but mostly fine and partly cloudy for the state. And on Sunday, showers extending statewide during the morning. Early cloud for Perth, sunny and 36 in Adelaide, partly cloudy in Melbourne. Mostly sunny in Sydney and Canberra, partly cloudy in Brisbane. Partly cloudy here too, 19 in Hobart, 16 right now in Launceston, Devonport 15 degrees. Now, Kim, depending on what happens this evening, tomorrow night I may well be bathed in blue, but if the wrong result occurs, we'll make no mention of it.
Don't care, I'm an AFL girl. Thank you. That is your news for now. I'll be back later with updates. Thanks for joining us this evening. Good night.